Alright, so you just downloaded FL Studio and now you're trying to learn how to actually use the program. In this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step process of how to use the most important elements of the program so you can start making beats today. Alright, the first tip I'm going to give you is how to actually go through the individual windows so you don't get lost when you're opening up something new. Alright, so this right here is what I call the window menu. I don't know if it has an actual name, but that's just what I like to call it. So with this right here, you'll be able to open up the mixer, which is this icon right here. You can click it again to close it. Then you have the channel rack, which is this right here. And then you can close it by clicking on it again. This is going to be your piano roll. This is where you'll actually be able to create melodies. And this main window right here is the playlist. So if we click on it again, it'll close it off and we can open it back up just by clicking on it again. Alright, so remember, if you ever get lost between those menus, just go back to this main window menu and you'll easily be able to go through the different menus. Alright, so now we're going to go into the details of every single one of those windows. So the first one we're going to look at is called the channel rack, which is this one right here. When you first open FL Studio, it'll have these 4 basic sounds laid out, but this is where you'll be able to add your own drum sounds. As you can see, they have a kick, clap, a hat, and a snare. And this area right here is where you can click them in and actually create the drum pattern. So if we just lay down a kick and a clap, and then you can add a hi-hat. So I'm just clicking on this. If you want to delete these, just right click, or you can right click and drag. You can do the same thing to lay down a fast pattern. Let's just lay down the snare as well, just to add a little more bounce. Remove that kick. I'm going to show you how to add your own drum sounds onto here later on in the video. But here on the channel rack is also where you can add VSTs to create melodies. So the way you do that is you click on this plus icon right here. And this is going to show you all the plugins that FL Studio already comes with. So to keep this real simple, I'm just going to open up FL Keys. And that's going to open up the plugin right here. You can also click on the top right here if you want to move it around. And if you have a MIDI controller, you can play melodies out. And you also have to make sure it's connected to FL Studio, but that's for another video. But another way you can actually play out your notes is by clicking on this icon right here. So it'll have a little piano on it. And if you turn this on, it'll actually connect to your keyboard. And now you can actually use your keyboard to actually play out notes. And this isn't ideal for creating melodies, but what this really helps with is just going through different sounds inside the VSTs. Now let's say you don't know how to play the keys yet and you just want to click in the melody. To do that, let's first close this VST, so you can just click on this little X. Then you're going to want to go back to that main window menu that I showed you in the beginning and click on the one that has the little piano on it right here. And that'll open up the piano roll. And to click in the melody, all you're going to want to do is just click anywhere on the grid and you see it lays down a note. If you want to delete a note, just right click and drag it across the note and that'll delete it. Now let's lay down some chords just to have a real basic melody. So click on the note you want to start on. For this one, it'll be C. And then what you can do is you can click right here and then you can hover at the end of the note. You'll see this extender, hold it and drag it across. And now the duration of the note will be that long. Let's lay down the rest of that chord. And if you don't know music theory yet, you probably don't want to just click random notes all over the grid because you'll end up with something that's out of key. So what you do is you go on this corner right here, click on it, it'll open up this menu, go to view, scroll down to scale highlighting, and it might be set to automatic, but what you can do is you can click on whatever scale you want to be on. So if we want to be on a minor scale, we can click on minor natural and then just click on whatever note you want to be on. So for this one, we were in C, so we'll leave it on C. To grab all the notes is going to be Command or Control, left click and drag it across all the notes. And now you can move them all together. To get rid of the highlighted notes, just click on Command or Control again and just left click. So all these highlighted notes are going to be the scale that you clicked on. So to make sure this chord is in scale, let's move this one down to that highlighted note. And there you go. You can add more notes to create more of a melody. This is just a real basic tutorial. One last quick thing I want to show you that's important in the piano roll is if you add a note and it's too loud, go down here to this section and this shows you the velocity of every single note. So if we highlight this note right here, you can see that this one is a little loud. I purposely made it loud so you can see what it sounds like. So if we want to make that note quieter, just click on this and drag it down. You can also do this to any of these individual notes over here. Click and bring it down. Now when I play it, you'll hear that note a lot quieter. Alright, and now that we have the basics of how to create a melody inside of the piano roll, I want to show you something else you can do inside of here. So let's close out of this window, and remember to do that we can go back to this main window menu up here, click on that piano icon again, and it'll close it. Let's go back to one of these sounds, so we'll go back to the hi-hat. You can click on any of these right here. Whatever sound you click on right here, it'll open it up in the piano roll. So we have this one selected, and we'll go back up here, and you can see it pulled it up right here. Another way to go between these sounds is to actually go on this right here, and you can click on any of the sounds you want to get to right here. Now this might be a little confusing and a lot of steps to learn at first, so that's why I showed you the other way. But here on the piano roll we can add more details to the drums. So I want to add a hi-hat roll, and the first thing you want to do is click on this magnet right here, and what this does is it basically changes the piano roll to be more detailed. So if we go to third step, you'll see it changes the pattern and you can add more details to it. So let's zoom in at the end right here, and I just want to add a real basic roll. So we'll play it. So right here is where I want the roll. Now if I just click on the note right here, you'll see it might just pull up the whole note how I was playing it before. Now you can either shorten this note up like this, or what you can do is you can go on this note right here, click on it, and then when you click on the next note, it will copy that same note. So as you can see, copies that same note. And now if I play it, and you can also change the velocity on these just how I showed you with the melody. So if you click on this right here, you can change each of the velocities. So we're going to bring this down. Alright, so now that we know how to create melodies and unique drum patterns, let's move on to how to actually adjust the volumes of these sounds. So again, we're going to go back to this window menu up here. Let's click on the piano roll again, and that'll close it out. And now we can go to the mixer. So the mixer icon is going to have these little sliders on it, and that opens up the mixer right here. And FL Studio already has these 4 basic drum sounds on the mixer. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But the FL keys that we added isn't on the mixer yet. So to do that, you're going to want to go onto this right here. And you see whatever number we select, that's going to change it to that insert channel on the mixer. Now there's 2 ways you can actually adjust the volume. So the first way is going to be on the channel rack with this knob right here, or you can just do it straight on the mixer right here with this knob. I recommend just sticking to the mixer knob right now. It'll make things a lot easier for you. So let's play this real quick and adjust the volume of the piano. You see how it's hitting pretty strong up here in the negative 3 dB range. I like to keep it between negative 9 and negative 12. So let's bring that down. That's pretty good right there. And when you open FL Studio, it might have the Fruity limiter already on the master channel. This right here is the master channel. So if you see right here, this is Fruity limiter. This is what the Fruity limiter looks like. I recommend you remove this and you actually add the soft clipper instead. The reason I say that is because the limiter can sometimes make your kick sound too muddy, and it doesn't allow it to like punch through. So to remove this, we're going to click on this little menu right here and click on delete, and we're going to open up the soft clipper. So just click on any of these right here. It'll open up this mixer menu. This is where you can find the rest of your effect plugins, and I'll show you a little more about that in a second. Let's add the soft clipper, and honestly this is the only thing you need on your master channel for right now. Alright, so now let's talk about the effects you can add. So we're going to go to this channel 5 where we have the FL keys. Again, you can click on any of these right here, and it'll open up this menu with all your effect plugins. So as you can see, we have reverb, we have distortion. Let's add some reverb to the keys. So that'll open up this plugin right here. I'm going to mute the piano so you can hear it a little more clear. To do that, just right click on the channel, and that'll mute everything else. And now when I play it, you'll hear a little bit of that reverb in it. You see how it carries on a little bit. You can exaggerate it right here. Just mess around with all the plugins and you'll see the capabilities that they all have. So with the reverb, just the decay is really what I focus on the most. That's like the amount of reverb that you have. So if we turn it up, now when I stop it, you can hear it carries on longer. Now I know this isn't a mixing tutorial. I just want to show you the most important basics to know. So one of the most important things you want to do with your melody is make sure you cut out the low end so the 808 or bass isn't clashing with it. And to do that, you can just click on any of these again, and we're going to open up the EQ. I recommend using EQ2. This gives you a visual representation of what's going on. Now when we play it, you can see the frequencies that the piano is in. And we're just going to grab this right here, drag it down, and that's going to cut off all the low end. If we exaggerate it, you can hear how that sounds. So we're just going to cut off a slight amount of it. Now let's unmute everything else so we can hear how that sounds. So now you see the piano is a lot more blended into the mix. Alright, so that's pretty much the basics of the mixer. I want to show you the main menu because I think this is also really important. So up here on the main menu, you can adjust the tempo of the beat. So right now we're at 130, but if we wanted to bring this up, just left click and drag. That'll bring it up. So that's how you can quickly change the pace of your beat. And another really important thing is actually this pattern in song right here. So right now we're on the pattern, but if we click on the song, you might notice all of a sudden there's nothing playing. And that's because the sound is now coming from the playlist. So when I play it, you can see how this icon is dragging across. So I'm going to bring in one of my loops, and when we drop this inside of the playlist, you'll see that now there's audio from it. So if for some reason you drop a loop and then you don't hear any audio, just make sure you're clicking on the right section. Now, if you want to add drums to a loop, what you want to do is go right here and click on this pattern. And when you first lay down a pattern, it'll be all empty because you wouldn't have any sounds in it yet. But now when we play it, it'll play it together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute the keys real quick. You see how it plays it together. And one last really important thing to know with the main menu up here is this section right here. But more importantly is the file. So in this menu, this is where you can save your beat or you can export it out. So if you open up this menu right here, you'll be able to export it as a wave, an MP3, or you can even export stems. Alright, and the last important section I want to show you about is the browser. So the browser is this area right here. And what's important about the browser is this is where you can add your own drum sounds or my drum kits. The link will be in the description. And when you open up the sub menus of all the drum sounds, you can actually preview them here. So if you click on here, now you can actually preview your sounds and not have to open up a file and click on the sound to hear it. You can just easily preview the sound right here. Now let's change out those stock sounds because they sound trash. Let's click on this one right here. You can click on it, drag it across, and I'm going to drag it onto the clap, and that'll change the sound. We're going to do the same thing with the rest of them. And another quick tip to just change the hi-hat pattern from this craziness right here, we can just change it to an easy two-step pattern. And to do that, you just right click right here, and we're going to go into fill each two steps, and that'll create just a regular two-step pattern. Alright, so it sounds a lot better than before. And because the channel rack is so small, you're not going to have a big window to create a long pattern. So you can go back up here into this window menu that I showed you in the beginning. We're going to open up the piano roll, and here we can extend the drum pattern to match the length of the loop. So we're going to add just a couple more kicks here, and we can also turn up the velocity right here. Now you see the piano roll might be a little too detailed, so what we can do is we can go back to this magnet, and remember the magnet is how detailed you want the piano roll to be. So we're going to change it back to step, and now you see that removed a lot of the detail inside of the piano roll. Remember, you can hold command or control, left click, and that'll hold all the notes. And then if you hold shift, that'll actually copy over all the notes you have selected. So just hold shift, left click, and then drag across. And now we can copy that whole pattern over. And remember, you can also use this menu up here. It is a little more advanced, but it's a faster method if you get the hang of it. Alright, so now that we extended all the drum sounds, we can exit out of here. And now when I play it, it'll be the duration of the loop. Now I didn't really go over the playlist since that's pretty straightforward. But there is one quick tip I want to give you about that. So first I'm going to delete the keys that I had, since now that we have a loop playing. Let's close this channel rack window. And now you can see this is just the playlist right here. And we have all the drum sounds playing on one pattern right now. But when you're done making the beat, you're going to want to arrange all the sounds individually. So to do that, let's delete this right here real quick. And don't worry, you're not deleting the pattern. You're just deleting it from the playlist. But if you want to add it back, it's always right here. So remember, this icon is for the drum sounds, and this one is for whatever loops you have playing. So let's go back to this one. We're going to click on the pattern right here. Right click. Let's scroll all the way down to split by channel. And now all the drum sounds are laid out individually. So we can click on this first one. You can hold shift and click on the last one, and that'll select them all together. And now we can just left click and drag them all onto the playlist. Hold command or control and just left click, and now you see we have all the drum sounds laid out individually. So now you can just copy all that over. To do that, you just hold command or control, select them all. And I'm sorry, I know I've been saying command or control, but command is for Mac users and control is for Windows users. So to copy and paste it all over, you're going to want to hit command and B. You can use your trackpad to zoom in or zoom out from the playlist. But if you're using an external monitor like I am right now, you can just right click up here and this is how you can zoom in or zoom out. And on this top corner right here, this is where you can make each individual track larger. So to do that, let's just click on it, drag it up, and you see that widens up each channel. And that's pretty much the basics. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any more questions, just drop a comment below and I'll respond as soon as I can. And I just dropped a video on the 4 best stock plugins for beginners, so click right here if you want to check that out. But I'll see you in the next video. Peace.